welcome to episode 361 of the All You Can Hear podcast. I am Wenzel, one of your predecessoring forerunner co-hosts. Those are forerunners word. Predecessing is not a word, I don't think. Predecessor forerunner. Yeah. Joining me today is my other predecessor forerunner co-host.
My name is the Handsome Colt, and I'm a prince of the darkness. And I have a bird, and it's gonna eat you. That's two references in one: Borderlands and Crow.
Yeah, I see what you're doing there, you sneaky little bitch. I see what you're doing.
That's because this is technically the prequel, which is a reference to a prequel sequel, which is a reference to Borderlands, the prequel. In my head.
Yeah, no, that's the reference here. So this is pretty much us talking about the 4 movies that we watched before we went to Sidewalk. On Thursday we watched 2 movies, and then Friday before we watched the opening night film, we watched 2 movies. And then we're gonna kind of quickly talk about them. This is the prequel to that, but also the sequel because it comes after.
Yeah, we had a fucking great lineup of movies overall. We watched how many in total over that weekend?
So yeah, we watched 13 films total.
Yeah, we got that movie in us, as they say.
Yeah, we do. I remember messaging Cole. I was like, hey, you just want to do like this really like I say intense, but like kind of like intense just movie watching shit. And he was like, fuck it. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, because we will have our movie marathons where we can watch like upwards of 9 movies a day, which is a lot. But we never really have. We've never done anything like this where we watch as many movies out at actual theaters as we did.
Yeah. And these movies all just happened to come out within the weekend. And there were like all 4 of them were movies we wanted to watch, and we were like, well, shit, like what can we do? And of course, because of again, we're not sponsored by AMC, and also fuck AMC for their ads. Holy shit. But again, the AMC A-list membership is worth it because literally we watched 2 movies the day before and then Thursday, and then it resets so we can watch 2 again on Friday. You get to watch 3 free movies a week, but if you time it right like we did, you can watch 4.
Yeah, we saved like $70 just paying $20. It's very nice.
It's so nice. We save so much money. Like it's worth it. Like if you have the means, I mean the cheapest options like I think like $20, $21, like go for it. If you have an AMC near you and you can go to it, go for it. You can watch so many movies. Holy shit. And that money that you would be using for, for movie tickets, you can use it to buy food or gas or something,
or V-Bucks, anything.
Yeah.
Necessary to live.
But before we get into the 4 movies that we watched, I did want to mention that the movies that we were interested in watching at Sidewalk, but we didn't watch. I know whenever we record the Sidewalk episode, I told Colt beforehand, I was like, I'm going to mention these movies so that people know like what we didn't watch, just in case, maybe you wanted to check out these other films that were there. You can always go to the Sidewalk website and check out their schedule to learn what films were there in case you're interested. But these were the other films that we were going to watch, or we thought about watching, but we had to do like come together to decide which ones we were going to watch that day. So first is Adrian and the Castle, Welcome Space Brothers, and then it's We Strangers. Then another one was actually a performance where this guy, Nathan Avakian, I think that's how you say his name, gets a silent film and then does a live performance soundtrack basically for the film. It was a secret what film he had chosen, but since we didn't go to it, we don't know what film he chose, but I'm sure you can look it up. Era Occulta, Secret Mall Apartment, Lesvia, and that's it for Saturday. Then Sunday, there were the choices of Whatever It Takes, The Universal Theory, Hidden Master, Resonator, but Resonator spelled ResYnator. Then Oddity, then Jailhouse to Millhouse, then Missing from Fire Trail Road, and Von Krom, Playing to Survive, Von Krom versus Hitler. So those were the movies that were that we had put on a list of choices of what we were going to see.
Yes, but sadly didn't get to watch them. I do think a lot of those looked very good, but I guess we'll have to wait to see if they come to anything or if there's any other ways to watch them in the future.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I also have two more movies. I didn't put on here. The Devil's Bath and Volcanizadora. I think that's how you say that. Yeah. No. Hopefully, hopefully they come to some kind of streaming service. I know some of those are already on streaming services or they're rentable, but not everything. So hopefully they all come to something. So either we or everybody can watch them. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly bring those up. Yeah, I guess let's just
One more little
sorry.
house cleaning to do. In Fortnite, they added 2 new songs, one last week, one this week. It's Broccoli this week, and last week was a Nicki Minaj and whatever the artist is for the season. And in that song, they say, "No more booty calls. You're gonna have to jack off." And in the new Broccoli song, it's a little Yachty. He's like, "If they don't do something, I'm gonna turn this place into Columbine." But they muted it. It was strange. Just saying. Fortnite, what's up with your censorship? It's very weirdly selective. I understand Columbine was a tragic event, but like, why are we not muting Nicki Minaj talking about booty calls and jacking off?
That was not the house cleaning I expected you to talk about. Okay.
That's it. All right.
I do. Okay, I will say this quickly. With Fortnite is I think that they should have a section in the game just for adults, like so that like because whenever we're playing in Fortnite Festival and they're playing songs and they censor stuff, it sounds so weird. It's stupid. It sounds stupid, and I want to. I don't know. I want to listen and play the song fully.
Yeah, I love Festival. It's super fucking fun. I love rhythm games. They have a Disturbed song that fucking what is it called? It's the one where at the end he starts talking about how fuck you, mom, I'll fucking kill you. Why don't you shut up and die? Shut up and die. It's a very dark moment in the song. It's a very dark song in general, but they just don't really censor much of it.
Is that not their most famous one?
It is, but I'm blanking on it.
Oh, Down with the Sickness?
Yes, there it is.
Okay, I don't listen to much Disturbed. That's the only song I know, so I was
I know Stricken, 10,000 Fists in My Ass.
Really? Is that what it's called?
No, it's just 10,000 Fists.
Oh, I was like, what? Okay.
That's all I can remember.
Yeah. Okay. No, the Colt's right. Like there will be this huge section that are just silent or gone. Especially that song, because whenever he's singing those parts or he's yelling those parts, all you hear is a bunch of grunts. It's just a bunch of
yeah, because in the actual song, he's like, "Why don't you shut the fuck up and die?" And other cuss words that they can't have. It just doesn't make sense. You're playing a game where you shoot people. Can't say fuck.
Yeah, but there's no blood.
There's also a content warning for certain songs that says this can only be played in certain game modes.
Which is so weird because it's like, motherfuckers, you guys censor this shit anyway. What's up with this content warning? What are you yeah, the whole censorship thing is so weird with Fortnite, with Epic Games in general. That's a discussion for a different episode.
Yes, hopefully in the future Fortnite can get just separate the children's playlist from the man's playlist. And they
You
can
know
finally have that chance to add the twerking emote that I've been begging for years.
The first movie we watched is the debut from Zoe Kravitz is Blink Twice. It is a dark comedy psychological thriller starring Naomi Ackie, Channing Tatum, Christian Slater, Simon Rex, Adria Arjona, Kyle MacLachlan, Haley Joel Osment, Gina Davis, and Aaliyah Shaw Cat. Runtime of an hour and 42 minutes at a budget of $20 million, and current box office right now is 22 million. Yeah, I mean, it's in the positive now.
Yeah, it is. It's surprisingly low, I feel like, because that island looked expensive.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I should say there's gonna be spoilers for these films. So since we're doing like 4 films in a row, we're not gonna do it how we usually do with an episode dedicated to one movie. We're just gonna try to quickly go through these and like talk about them and what we thought, and just I guess more of a condensed version of our usual film reviews.
So full on spoilers, very fast for all of these.
So I didn't. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say this movie was a surprise because as many times as we saw this trailer, at first I thought it looked okay, and then I got tired of the trailer because it just kept playing every time we went. Then it disappeared for a while. Then it came back and played every time we went. Strange thing. But then I saw the reviews coming out for this saying like, you know what, this isn't bad. There was actually a decent amount of people that liked it, and yeah, I liked it. So it was a big surprise. The content in it was very surprising because I was not expecting it just to be a rape island. Yeah.
No, as Colt says, we saw this trailer for a while and then it stopped showing, and then it came back towards the latter half of the summer because it was getting its summer release officially in theaters. It released on August 23rd. Here, so we started seeing it again, and got tired of it. I could tell where it was going. We got a second trailer after the first wave of after the first trailer. We got a second trailer, and I could kind of tell where it's going, and I mean, I expected it, but at the same time, I was still like, oh shit, this is pretty brutal. I just wanted to say this though, something I found out that's so interesting was Blink Twice was not the original title of this movie. Would you by chance happen to know what the original title of this film was, Colt?
No.
The original title. No. So this started or Zoe Kravitz started writing this film back in 2017. Its working title until 2024, when January this year, when it was changed, it was called Pussy Island.
Yeah, I don't think that's a great title. I'll say that.
Yeah, because
kind of very controversial, kind of offensive, considering the content of the movie.
Yeah, so whenever MGM got the distribution rights, and then the Motion Picture Association were talking about this title, they were like, yeah, we don't really want to put this title on billboards, posters, kiosk, or on tickets. And then they did some research, see how women felt about the title. Women were very offended by the title.
Understandable.
Zoe Kravitz said, she said that she wanted to try to reclaim the word and try to use it in that way. But
I don't think a movie where there's an island that rich people bring women just to rape is a great way to reclaim the word.
She's quoted as saying, "We're not there yet," and I think that's something I have the responsibility of as a filmmaker to listen to. So they changed the title. As Cole says, I was very surprised when we heard the reviews were pretty positive. We were again kind of shocked. So we thought, well, shit, we might have to go see it. And then also too beforehand, which I do appreciate, is they put a warning beforehand talking about, this film features violence, especially sexual violence. So obviously trigger warning, also issues of mental health as well. So yeah, I do appreciate that warning. And again, I knew what we were getting into, or I could tell when that popped up. It's just like, ah, shit, they're really showing us. And there was a scene there where they definitely do show us. It's pretty brutal.
A brutal scene, but the good news is some of the girls do get back. Some of the women get back at them, and that is a very satisfying moment, seeing the change from being the victim to fighting back.
Yeah, no, there was some pretty brutal, in a good way, brutal scenes of them getting back at their attackers. It was, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, God, it makes you upset because it's like, yeah, these guys are villains, so of course, because some of the women don't survive. So, and it's bullshit too, because it's the fucking security guard, of course, that's just like, oh, he's a Marine and he's defending these rich assholes, but he also gets his upcomings. Yeah, no, it takes it's pretty, you can kind of see like what's going on here. They're using you get this perfume and you see they have a lot of it and it's labeled as well, so it's like, okay, so that's how they're doing it. They're using the perfume, and it's like, well, how do they get out of it? And it was snake venom, which was the way. I didn't expect that. And there is a funny scene where all the women try to get the other women there with them to take shots of snake venom so they can break the drug induced amnesia. But yeah, no, I mean, all the performances were great. If anybody has seen Hitman with Glenn Powell, that's where Adria Arjona is from. She was great. Channing Tatum was also really good too. He plays like a CEO, influencer, despicable dickbag. There was
very good at being a villain. You don't really see him in villain roles.
Yeah, I don't know where he's at. I don't know if I've ever seen anything where he's played a villain, but no, he was very good. I mean, he really hit it spot on too. There's also just a scene where he just kept saying, I'm sorry, just yelling, I'm sorry. And I thought that was really good. Yeah, everybody was really solid in this movie. Also just a gorgeous film.
It's just very nice. I enjoyed the one old lady that would give the main character Frida the snake venom, just being like, speaking another language and be like, huh, you want to try the snake venom, or you should try the snake venom. And then she drunk it and she's like, oh God, this is fucking awful. Sees a snake and she's just laughing at her while Frida's freaking out.
Yeah, I should say too, there's this old woman, she works there, she's one of the cleaners. She actually is trying to help her because she says red rabbit run, and it's just like, red rabbit, like what is that, and then find out later that this is actually the second time Naomi Aki's character Frida has been to the island, and it was we get a flashback of that, and that was also pretty brutal, which I liked how in the beginning of the film we see Frida and we see her face, and there was like not really necessarily emphasis, it was subtle, but we see this scar on the side of her head, and we're like, there's a lot of emphasis on this scar, kind of. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, it's just a scar, whatever. But then later we see, oh shit, that's how she got the scar, and then the scar is even brought up by Channing Tatum's character. So I do like that. It's a pretty brutal and dark film, but the ending, I know Colt wasn't necessarily satisfied with it. I do think the ending is interesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's not a bad ending. I just wanted to see Channing Tatum hurt. I want to see Channing Tatum hurt. I want to see his character hurt.
Yeah.
Punished in some way. just like that. But I know you can say it was kind of a punishment, but I just wanted to see him physically hurt.
It was very interesting because they Frida pulls out Channing Tatum's character, Slater King. She pulls him out, and Adria's character is like, I hope you know what you're doing. And then it's a time skip where we see Frida with King at a dinner, just like in the very beginning of the movie. But this time she is the wife of King, and also too, she's just she is absolutely just bombarding him. Like he's completely just on the same drugs that they used to make her forget. He is on that like super to extreme levels. And not only that, he hit his head, I believe, and he's like partially like disabled too. So he got what he deserves. And not only that, she's able to take advantage, and now she is very very wealthy, because beforehand she was she was one of the people, the surfers for this dinner, but now she is the CEO, or yeah, she's the CEO of the company that he owns. So
I think it's a very solid thriller. I recommend people that if they can watch something with the content that it has, check it out.
Yeah, I agree. Just look into those, look at those content warnings, but if you can, definitely check it out. Then next up, our second film of that day was the comedy Between the Temples, directed by Nathan Silver, starring Jason Schwartzman, Carol Kane, Madeline Weinstein, Dolly DeLeon, and Caroline Aaron.
This was so fucking good.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to look for the budget, but they're not really showing the budget on here.
I see the box office.
The box office is $1,012,082. So there's that. Yeah, no, we've only seen trailers for this twice. Again, we only saw the trailers for the latter half of the summer. So I was very interested in it. I was like, oh, it looks really funny, because you get the impression that like, oh, Jason Schwartzman is gonna fall in love with this old lady. Jason Schwartzman playing Ben, and Carol Kane playing Carla O'Connor. Pretty much what happened. Pretty much for this film, Jason Schwartzman character Ben, he's the cantor for a synagogue, and his author wife dies, and so he's kind of dealing with grief. Eventually, he comes across, or he meets up again in a bar with his old music teacher, Carla O'Connor, who ends up going to the synagogue because she wants to have a bar mitzvah done for her, because she never got to do one as a kid. So it's kind of like their relationship, and then also to his relationship with or his dealing with his grief of his dead wife, and then his parents, which he has two parents, and one of them is the awesome Dolly D. Leon. She plays a very stressful Filipino mom, just like my own Filipino mother. Very, very stressful. I love her. And yeah, and him trying to find love, but also find his voice, because he's the cantor of the synagogue, but he hasn't been able to sing because he's lost his voice. He can't sing. He's just so overwhelmed by what he's lost.
Andy, I don't know if you mentioned, but he's got two moms. He's got lesbian moms.
I just talked about that.
I just thought you just said one mom. I didn't know if you said the two moms.
I said he has two. Oh, sorry if I didn't say that. He has two moms. One of them is the awesome Dolly DeLeon.
Yeah, this movie has one of the strongest, strangest, most powerful dinner scenes that you've ever seen in a movie that rivals Dune's dinner scene. Woo. Let's just say that entire scene had me just like shaking, like kind of rocking back and forth and just like frothing out of the mouth. It was hard to watch in a good way.
It was so stressful. I know afterwards, I told Colt that I was feeling very hot. Like I said, De Leon, she is awesome, and she contributed hugely to that dinner scene, being so just
Just a piece of
stressful.
shit, just being a terrible mother.
Oh my, okay, let's not necessarily a piece of shit, but just being shitty.
I mean, stuff she was doing was really, really shitty.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
someone
No,
that does shitty things tends to be a dog shit.
no. The thing is, I see where she's this character. I see where she's coming from, but at the same time, it's just like, oh my god, just shut the fuck up. Like, yeah. But yeah, no, it's yeah, that dinner scene was incredible. I know I've seen this a lot when it comes to criticism of this film is the editing. I like the editing. I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I have no comments on the editing.
The sound work too with them speaking, like, because I see that word goes hand in hand with people's criticism of this film. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I think it works very well, especially in that dinner scene where it's just flashing back and forth between all the different like perspectives. I thought that was great. No, I thought it was fun, and then also too the film's gorgeous. Gosh, what kind of camera do they use? I'm not sure, but the film that they use, the graininess of it was really nice. It looked great.
Also, just a fucking hilarious movie. Carol Kane is a very funny person, very funny character in this.
Dude, she is so freaking funny. Jason Schwartzman is also just incredible because there's there's a scene in the very beginning of the movie where he's so sad he tries to kill himself, and the way he does it is he's so smooth with it too. He grabs his yarmulke, takes it off, and puts it on his face and just lies flat on the road, and a truck comes up and it honks at him, and he's just like, go, keep going, don't stop, go. And then afterwards the truck driver ends up taking him to a bar and dropping him off, and the truck, you never see the truck driver, he just honks his horn, and I assume the truck is the one talking to him.
Yeah, it's a transformer. It sounds like he's talking to him, so maybe. And the funny thing is, he killed him. He was going to kill himself after listening to a voicemail from his dead wife where I'm trying to remember, I think she was like talking about how she was touching herself, like, because he was cucking her in a story she was writing.
Either that, or because she made it sound like she was being like fucked by somebody.
No, like I think he was fucking someone else and she was into it. It was a fictional one. Because she was a writer. So she was just being horny for
Okay.
Jason Schwartzman.
Okay, so should preface this. Something that his wife would do was, she was a writer, but also she would send him voicemails that were very erotic, and they were just her just talking about different scenarios or what have you. This was like something that they did, or she liked to do, and he enjoyed it. And so he kept all the voice messages, and I think he said there's like 700 messages of different just sexual acts, and he kept them because he is grieving and he wants to hear her voice, and it's pretty crazy. And then he ends up meeting this one woman who her name is Gabby. She plays both characters, I think. Because it's supposed to be implied that she looks very similar to his dead wife, played by Madeline Weinstein, which on her letterbox she would like to explicitly state that she is not related to Harvey Weinstein. But there's a part in here where they keep trying to set him up with Gabby, his mom and his mom's, and the rabbi, because that's the rabbi's daughter. And they keep trying to set him up, and they keep saying that she's a mess because she was going to get married to somebody, but he left her at the altar after all the preparation, everything has been done. Literally, it was like the day of, just left her, just completely just gone. And so she's a mess. And then whenever he actually gets to like talk to her, without the intervention of anybody else, she reads his wife's book. She gets really into it, but then she's like, can I have the phone of all the messages of your dead wife? And he just gives it to her, and then she just starts reciting and like trying to play the part of his dead wife, and they end up having sex in the car. It's pretty weird.
And then her dad like returns his yarmulke at a later date, and he says, "Here's your yarmulke. You left it in my car."
Yeah, because it was her dad's car. It was so weird.
Because the dad was clearly trying to set up his daughter with Jason Schwartzman's character.
And then not only that, there was also a part in there where it was before the dinner scene where they came over, and he was taking everybody's coats, and he was like he kept trying to get them to go away, like to go do something, and then later he's like, did he give you a tour of the house? Like, you weird ass rabbi. Oh my god. Yeah, no, it was pretty wild. And then during the dinner scene, Gabby, because she's under the impression that Jason Schwartzman's Ben is romantically interested in her. There's all these kind of like, he doesn't really give any, he's very ambiguous through the whole dinner, but because he also invites Carla there, and he's giving a lot of attention to Carla, but he's also like kind of saying this and that, and Gabby is kind of under the impression that like, oh, like, but then also kind of getting the idea that there's something up here, until finally Ben admits that he's in love with Carla. And then Gabby just starts freaking out and crying and saying like, oh, it's fine. Really good performance by Madeline, by the way. I do enjoy kind of the complexity here between their relationship, because Gabby, because what happened with her fiance, she's trying to she feels like she's not enough. And so whenever Ben pops up with his dead wife, she tries to fill in that role of being his dead wife, trying to be enough for somebody. And then whenever this happens, she feels like, again, she's not enough, so she has another breakdown. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, she did a fucking great job. Just the whole, just having a breakdown in front of everyone at that dinner. Such a great scene. And the whole fucking events that take place after it, with him just running in the basement to where there's a door that just sounds like someone screaming every time it opens, and it has an issue where it won't shut all the way, so it just screams whenever
it opens.
It opens, and it fucking won't open now, so he has to go through a window to escape to go after Carol. And then when he does, his mom's like, "Go get her, son," since she's got the older smoker kind of voice.
Yeah, and she's also very supportive of his son. Both of her moms, both his moms are. But she's a painter too. She's done a lot of paintings of her son. No, it was great. It was great. The door bit though, that happens so many times in the movie, because he'll just shut the door. He'll be like, I want to be alone, and then it's just
I thought it sounded like the Skrillex scream where the kid's like, yes, oh my god. That's what it sounded like to me.
Me and Colt would look at each other and we're like, what the fuck is that? Is this a horror movie? It's so funny. Oh god. And then there is another scene where Ben, they get fed, him and Carla get fed or they accidentally drink hallucinogenic tea, mushroom tea. And they have a trip, and it's just this montage of Ben like running around the house. It's Jason Schwartzman running around the house. It's so funny. And then later at that night, whenever they're gonna go to bed, Carla's like, all right, I want to be downstairs. I'm just gonna go downstairs and go to bed. She just drops on the floor and just goes to bed. It's so funny. I love this movie. It's definitely a very unconventional love story.
Yeah, you never see like old people get love, especially from a younger person. Like Jason Schwartzman's character's like 40, he's like 40 something, so I'm assuming they're supposed to be the same age.
You think Carla and him are the same age?
No, I'm saying that Jason Schwartzman is probably the same character as, or same age as his character.
Oh, his character. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Now I do see too, like, or you might be thinking like, oh, is this, his bar mitzvah student? It's also his music teacher from when he was a kid. It's like, is this really ethical? I'm like, they're both fucking old and they're both adults. Like, it's obviously it's unconventional, but I mean, don't know. I thought it was very sweet.
And
Like,
fucking dinner scene, one of the moms is like, "You groomed my son?"
that was Dolly. Dolly DeLeon says that she's like, you groomed him. It's like, no, this is nobody's plan. Like, literally, she just found out who he was at a bar. Like, did not remember who he was at all. Because he got punched and she was just helping him up, and she did not recognize him, but he did. It wasn't until like the day later or like later when she realized who she is. Oh my god! Also, too, there's a really funny scene where Ben doesn't want to give her a bar mitzvah, and so she starts getting angry at him. She's like, "Little now," she talks about like little Benny. Little Benny had big balls, and what do you have, huh? What do you have? Like, just talk about his balls. Oh, so good. Like, you're a fucking pussy. Didn't say that, but basically what she was saying.
It's overall a very fun movie. I highly recommend it to anyone.
It's so funny. Yeah.
I gave it 4.5 stars, and I forgot to say, but Blink Twice, I gave it 4 stars.
I forgot to say that. I was literally about to bring that up. Blink Twice, I gave 4 stars. Between the Temples, I gave 5 stars. It's one of my favorite comedies this year. It's a fun time.
Amen, brother.
All right. And then next up, so next day, this is our first movie we watched on Friday of opening night of Sidewalk. We watched the thriller Strange Darling, directed by J.T. Molnar, starring Willa Fitzgerald, Kyle Gallner, and who are these characters? Who the fuck were these? Oh, okay. Barbara Hershey and Ed Begley Jr. Those two people were the mountain folk.
Okay. Yeah, Begley, he's in fucking Better Call Saul, and also his daughter's on TikTok, so I'll see him just randomly doing stuff around his house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, those were the two people that she calls the mountain folk, but they're not mountain folk. They're just hippies.
They're conspiracy theory, like aliens and Bigfoot hippies.
Doomsday preppers. That's what they were. That's what they said. Doomsday preppers.
But not normal doomsday preppers. They're into paranormal shit.
Yes. Yes,
and also they eat fucked up food.
They do. So yeah, so this had again, Blink Twice had its official theater release August 23rd. Between the Temples was the 22nd. Strange Darling was also the 23rd. Like legit, like all these films just bam. Runtime an hour and 36 minutes. At a budget of $4 million. Its box office currently right now is $2.4 million. So it's going in its second week right now.
Yeah, I hope this movie makes its money back, because this was a super creative film that I really, really, really enjoyed. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. Like, the chapters are set up in a way where you're constantly questioning, because the chapter order goes chapter 3, 5, 1, 4, 2, and the final one 6, then followed by an epilogue. It's just so fucking crazy how it's set up, and you're just like second guessing, like, wait, hold on, this is spoiler. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, do not listen to this part if you have not seen this movie. Straight up skip this part, because I think you should watch this movie. It's great. The whole fucking time, like, I was bouncing back and forth thinking like, oh my god, is she the killer or is he really the killer? Because it keeps flashbacking to them in the hotel where they're having sex, and like, he's doing these super, super fucking aggressive things to her, like choking her, punching her, like being mean, having her chained up. But they have a safe word. He's respectful about it. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Is it too much? But you find out later that she was really into it. She's like, I gotta believe you. I have to know that you really mean it. It's all just fucking crazy.
Kyle Gallner and Willa Fitzgerald put on these just incredible performances, and I really, like Colt says, I really hope this does like go see this movie. I really hope it does awesome, because also Kyle Garner, our male lead here, he's been all over Twitter saying like, please go watch this movie, like being very supportive, like please go watch it, it's incredible. Like, obviously because he's in it, it's part of this project, but still, it's just like, seriously, like, and I appreciate the support for this. But yeah, it was, I was second guessing because I remember when we saw the trailers for this, we were like, oh wow, like this color palette, it's very much like Trap, like Smile too. It's like, wow, so many films with this color palette, but it looked interesting for the most part. And I could not have guessed where it was going until like the middle of the movie, where I was like, oh shit, like this is where we're going. And it's so cool because it's done in a non-linear fashion. It's like it's shot in 35 millimeter film, and then also too, it's like made to seem like it's the like the dramatization of like actual like
This is real. This is a real serial killer story.
yeah, and
it's not, but that's how they set it up.
It's not, especially with the opening of her running in the field, and then like it shows like the title card. It's so well done. They set it up where she's known as the lady, and then he's
Electric
known...
Lady.
Well,
no, yeah.
No, they call her the lady, and they call the man the demon, and it's pretty brutal because he has this really decked out, or not decked out, but like very crazy.
He's got the stereotypical Southern white man pickup truck, fucking ramped up. Got the lights. It's got the bumper. It's got everything.
And then he has a lever action rifle that like it's a tactical. It's like a tactical lever action rifle,
and it's got a big round too.
And he's using that to hunt her, and also too, he's like taking like a bunch of cocaine. It's insane. It's like, oh my god, like what is happening? Like and then whenever they're in this one night stand, like Colt said, it's like he's being like BDSM, where they have her chained up, and he's choking her. But then they have a safe word where at some point he gets like really into it, and he's like saying all this shit to her, slapping her, and then she's getting mad, and then she says Mr. Snuffleupagus, which is their safe word, and he just completely changes. Like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't do this, I'm not into this, all this stuff. It's like, you did a good job, whatever. And he's like, he had a little bit of acting or whatever. So the entire time we're thinking, oh my god, like, is she the serial killer? And then like it's halfway through the film where we get all this stuff, and we're thinking like she's really into some dark shit, and she has to believe it. So we're thinking like, does she somehow wrangle him into some kind of weird like sex thing where he goes on a murdering spree, and and she has to, and like that's the only way he gets to have sex with her or something.
Yeah, I felt like it was her thing at first, and she talked him into it using the drugs that she gives him. Like, okay, now he's gonna go on a spree just for her, so they can get the rocks off, like you said.
Yeah, because like at some point, she's hiding in this house with these people, like we said, these doomsday preppers, and one of them is dead. It's the man played by Begley. And he's in there, and he's like saying, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty," saying, pss, 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 doing all that stuff, shooting boxes, trying to find her, and we're thinking like, man, this is brutal as hell. And then it isn't until that it's revealed that she is the serial killer. She goes by the name the Electric Lady, and what she does is she drugs him with ketamine and tortures him. And by midday is when she gets done. She carves her initials into his chest. She finds out that he is a sheriff, and it's just like, oh shit, well, she needs to get out of here.
She was gonna finish him off.
Yep. But he pulls a last second where he pulls out a gun. It's super cool, and shoots her right in the fucking ear. Just completely lops off her left ear. Part of it anyway, and that's where we know now she gets her wound that we see in the very beginning of the film. And was that her gun or his gun?
It was his gun. He had it in his ankle.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if it was her ankle or his ankle. Yeah. So, yeah. And then that's why he was taking the cocaine, because he needs an upper. So he has to just pump himself full of cocaine so he can track this woman down.
The whole scene of her like jumping off the balcony saying, "He's got a gun." And the neighbor is like, "I got one too." And it's just a redneck country boy. Not redneck. He's like a Dallas character, basically.
Yeah. Now this film does take place in Oregon, but yeah, no, he's like I guess you want to say like Pacific rednecks. Um and yeah, and so she goes to the front desk. She ends up killing the front desk lady, and again, just a great performance. She's like, I really didn't want to have to do that, but the reason why she says that she kills people is because all she sees are devils or demons. And yeah, and then she steals the nurse. There's a nurse there. She steals her car, which is a Pinto, a really nice car. Wrecks it, sadly. And yeah, and then like eventually, like we're getting caught up with everything. Yeah, no, it was a brutal film. I did not expect it.
Yeah, like the whole ending sequence was crazy because I did not know how the fuck it was going to play out with her faking a rape after choke or biting his neck open as the cops come in to help him, but they find out like, oh my god, he did stuff to her, and the whole like them getting out of there, and then she pulls out the fucking gun and like, oh, it's so crazy. It's
Yeah,
especially that final one where she's like coming across by that final lady. She's like, oh, help me, help me. But she eventually looks in the mirror, looking at herself, and she sees a demon.
yeah. Because in the trailers, we get this really at the very end of the trailers, we always get this like very quick cut of a demon, this like neon pink and blue demon that you see. And every time I'm thinking like, what the hell is up with that? And it makes an appearance where it's again it's only once, it's a brief cut where she sees it. And she actually sees it too whenever she holds one of the cops hostage. She sees it, and she freaking shoots him in the head. But yeah, no, it's brutal. And we just get this long sequence where the woman who shoots her, she's driving with her, and then as she's dying because she's been shot in the fucking stomach, this music's playing, and the color of the film slowly starts to turn to black and white. Very cool, very very crazy sequence. Yeah, no, this film was awesome.
Yeah,
Huge surprise.
fucking absolutely loved it. They used the word cleverest to describe it. Still don't know if that's a word. But I agree. It's a clever film. I really enjoyed it. Uh, go watch it, really.
Yeah, go watch it for yourself. Obviously, if for some reason you are listening to this, I don't want to say you've done yourself a disservice, but yeah,
5 stars. That's what I gave it.
I gave it 5 stars too. Again, huge freaking surprise. Yeah, just crazy ass movie. All right. Then finally, next up, the final film that we watched, probably the best film we've seen ever, the best film of the Sidewalk weekend. Just absolutely incredible. No, it's not. Sorry. It's not.
But hey, it's not the worst movie that
It's
we
not
watched
the worst
that
movie.
weekend.
Is not the worst movie this year. If anybody says it's the worst movie this year, they have not seen Borderlands or they haven't seen anything else. This is not that bad.
And it's
This
not
is-
even the worst one we saw at like Sidewalk.
Yeah. So this is the remake or sorry reboot of the 19 confuse myself here. The 1994 original Crow. It is a gothic superhero film, as it's described here, directed by Rupert Sanders, starring Bill Skarsgård, FKA Twigs, and Danny Houston.
I want to go ahead and say this is a hot take. This was a lot of fun. Also, this Rupert guy, I haven't seen all of his movies, but I've seen 2 of his 3 movies. The last one being Ghost in the Shell. I have another hot take. I thought that one was also pretty good.
Yeah, so before we get into actual like what we think of it, just wanted to quickly say running time is quick math, Wenzel, come on. An hour and 41 minutes. Fuck. Budget was
50 million.
Sorry, hour 51 minutes. Almost 2 hours. Budget was 50 million. Box office right now is 11 million. Definitely not gonna make it back.
Yeah.
It's so because I think it's about to go to streaming like either this week that we're talking about it or the week that this episode releases. It's about to go to streaming because Yeah, it's not making that money back. Sorry, Lionsgate.
Yeah, two L's back to back. I don't know what's going on there at Lionsgate. Yeah, Borderlands, and you got this.
Yeah,
This is better than Borderlands, only because of the action, really.
Yeah. Also, too, soundtrack was pretty solid.
The soundtrack was great. It had all the fucking emo, goth, industrial kind of music that I really love. This kind of music. It's really good.
I love it. They had Joy Division. They had Gary Newman. They had the Veils. They had Traders. Yeah, a bunch of good songs. They did not have the songs that were made for the original Crow film. I just wanted to report that for people. Sorry, but still, music was great.
I agree.
Yeah, so I will say for the first like 2/3 of the film, it's fine. Or it's just whatever.
It kept me interested the entire time. The only thing that I did not like, or I should say, the only thing I hated about this movie was the dialogue. It was written by a middle schooler in 2012 that they would hang out with their girlfriend in the hallway, just like have their heads on each other while they're wearing the same jacket for the entire year that they never take off, even when it's 100+ degree weather. God, the quotes in this are so fucking awful. The one that I can't get out of my head was the one that was like, "If you find it hard to love me, then love me harder."
Love me harder, dude.
Fucking awful.
You know, the thing is, as bad as these quotes are, I can quote them. Love me harder. There was the one where it's like, you think teenagers will build a shrine to us? Is like,
Fuck
yeah,
off.
yeah, they'll give us cigarettes and whiskey. She's like, no, give us a sea of white lilies. Or the other one, I think it was like, oh, you're my person. You're my person. It's just like, fuck off, dude.
It's just the fucking couple that won't stop, like, basically face sucking. Ah, it's like, it reminds me of that fucking Vine where the person's like, "Is this allowed?
Is this
allowed?"
No, this is exactly what this is. I would that's what I thought when I watched this film. I'm like, is this allowed? So for anybody who doesn't know, because we didn't know what The Crow was about, The Crow,
I've never seen the first.
never seen the first, never seen the original. The Crow is a man who is resurrected to avenge the deaths of himself and his girlfriend. And he's guided by crows, and that's it. It's a revenge tale. And that's why I say
it's very easy to sell to me because that sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, no, gothic superhero about a guy who can't fucking die until he gets revenge. I like that. I think that sounds crazy. Like that's what really caught us to that's really what made us interested, is the aspect of him not being able to die and this kind of universe that's created. I know for the longest time too, Colt kept asking me, it's like, is this based off a comic book? And I was like, I don't know. I would say that every time, and then Colt kept saying, oh, I'm gonna look it up. Never looks it up until literally the week before we go see it. It's like he looks it up and it's like, yes, it's based off a comic, and they even say it at the beginning of the movie. So I don't know, the universe, this world sounds really interesting. And
I will say the first few, there was like 3 trailers before this movie actually came out. 2 of them were mid, while one of them had some really sick action shots that convinced me and Wenzel basically that we wanted to see this.
Yeah, the Red Band trailer.
Yes.
No, and then God damn, I dropped something. Sorry. And then whenever we saw the reviews for it, it was like, oh, this is like one of the worst movies this year. Blah blah blah. We're like, it can't be that bad. Like we're still.
We just watched Borderlands. It can't be that bad.
It can't be that bad. And then we watched it, and we're like, oh shit, it's not that bad. The final third of the film, or the third chapter or whatever, with the action in it, it goes so insane. Bill Skarsgård is just getting fucked up constantly, and then the action scene that happens in the opera house was awesome. Dude, that's it was so crazy. It was so freaking cool. He was murdering guys left and right, and I said,
God, and he just did it with a katana after jumping out of a Lamborghini. Badass.
Like it was so crazy. I'm trying to think of my favorite, because he does some crazy shit where like he slices a guy slices right through a guy's jaw. One of the guys tries to use the katana on him, stabs him, but then he stabs guys with the katana while it's still in his body.
He just there was a point where he's accidentally stabbing people after he's been stabbed because he got pushed over, and when he got pushed over, the knife or the sword went through another person. It's so fucking cool, and he'll stab one person and charge it through another guy and twist the blade. It was so fucking awesome, man.
It was
and the whole scene of him just getting unloaded on and just like pa 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 pa, and he gets back up just to kill. And all the first time he gets resurrected, brutal as fuck. Not related to the Opera House, but like the guy shoots him. He falls into a tub. He gets resurrected. He gets up, kicks over the old guy, and he falls over like the old man stereotypical falling over, can't get up, and he immediately blows his brains out. And it's so fucking bloody. Holy shit.
Yeah, that whole sequence where he fully, so the first time he gets resurrected, he gets sent on this mission by we assume is God or some kind of godlike figure or something. Like I said, the world building is really interesting, really cool. And then he makes he dies again because he's questioning his love, because love is the reason why he can even revive, whatever. He has to basically, to come back again, he has to make a deal. He makes a pact where he becomes the Crow. That's what he's called, the Crow. So he doesn't need crows to guide him anymore because he is a crow, kind of. He gets black blood. He just goes crazy. He just grabs the shotgun that he was shot with and just that's absolutely annihilates these guys. And then there is a scene too beforehand where he is fighting in a car and he just gets wrecked by a truck. It's crazy.
Yeah, just getting shot up, fully like fucked up by the guards. Kick him out, gets smothered by a truck.
Oh my god. And there was one back to the Opera House though, whenever he's fighting and he has the katana in his chest, he grabs a guy's head and he's pulling the guy's head towards the katana as the guy's like screaming because he doesn't want to he's about to get brutally stabbed in the freaking face. Oh god, it was so sick. And it was so funny because so many of these security guards, of course, because they have guns, they're all old guys. I'm just like, is it worth it? How big's the check? Because you're shooting this guy and he keeps coming back. Like
I understand you work for basically an immortal demon man, but come on.
You're fighting another immortal demon man. Like, you're not gonna win. No, I that's what I love about these really just action-packed horror films like this. Just no, I guess, logic. And which logic obviously doesn't really have a place anywhere with humans. But I just think it's funny. Yeah. So yeah, the dialogue, again, the writing, it's just so bad. I'm sorry. But the action's really cool. So
oh yeah, that action more than made up for any bad line that made me want to just like have my eyes spin like a slot machine. It was very fun.
Oh man, you know what's crazy too? I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now. Apparently, so the development for this started back in 2008, and there were several different people who were going to play the Crow. I don't know if this is like the order that they started with and moved on to these different people, but Bradley Cooper, Luke Evans, Jack Houston, Jason Momoa were all cast as Eric during development.
That is on crazy. The wiki, and I'm seeing in 2010 reports emerged that Mark Wahlberg was offered the lead role.
What? That is crazy.
In 2011, rumors of Channing Tatum, Ryan Gosling, or James McAvoy.
Man, that's so weird. Oh, gosh.
And Harvey Weinstein was going to be one of the producers. What the fuck is going on?
Man, the development for this movie was crazy. So I don't want to say it was set up to fail, but it definitely did not have a good time.
Yeah, this is wild. That is fucking crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, I check out the wiki page for this. It's very interesting.
The production or development, yeah.
Jesus Christ, this the villain was really cool too. I enjoy the idea of a guy that just in your ear and you immediately kill someone.
Or
Very
yourself.
interesting. Or yourself, yes.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm very interested in this world. But not as bad. I think if you can, it's laughable. Like it's entertaining enough where you can really make it through that those first two parts of it, and then whenever you get to the action, that really makes up for that. I think it's worth it for that, in my opinion.
Thing that I noticed when we were watching the movie, right as the ending scenes were happening, a couple walks into the theater and goes up to the back row. And I did not recognize them from the entire movie. This was the first time they're entering the movie. And by the time we were leaving, I looked back and I saw them. It looked like they were arguing at the top row, just like arguing about something. So I'm thinking they accidentally entered the theater a little too early to watch The Crow and they watched the ending instead.
Either that or they were very late. Either way,
if you're that late, I just go home, go do something else.
like that's my thing. I noticed that too. I'm like, what are they even arguing? Like, I'm like, is it because they're late or is it because they got in here too early? I'm like, can they not? I mean, could not one of them have looked at the screen and been like, oh, this looks crazy. I don't think this is the beginning of the film or something. I don't know. No, I just man.
People have weird habits when it comes to movies, and it bothers me. It's very strange.
The Crow gets people heated.
Yeah.
No, you're right. We said this in our Sidewalk episode. It's just, or did we talk about this in our Sidewalk episode? Yes, we did.
We did.
Okay, people just don't know how to go to the movies. Like it's 2024, and these weren't young people either. They were in their 20s, maybe 30s.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I give The Crow a very generous 3.5 stars.
Me too. 3.5 stars. I highly, when it gets to streaming services, check this shit out. It's something that will definitely kill a little bit of time, and you might come out enjoying it.
Yeah, like I said, it's so fun. I can't sit here like the dialogue sucks, but at the same time, it's just so fun. Also, too, Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs, they're just fucking for most of the movie.
Yeah, there's funny. So much fucking. It's crazy.
It's so funny, but yeah, I can't be mad at this. It's just too much fun. But yeah. So that's really it. Those are the 4 films we watched before Sidewalk. I think it was a fun time. It was a great time.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
super fun time.
Get us into the movie festival watching mood. I hopefully next year I hope we can do that again, because I think it's fun just going out and watching some more like movies in theaters before we hit the festival.
Now we got to make The Crow 2.
Yeah. So, any other final thoughts?
Fuck, movies are great. Thank you for listening, I guess. And go watch a movie. Go watch an old one. Go watch a new one.
Go watch a movie. This between now and November, hell, December too. There's but I'll say from now until November, there's a lot of films coming out. It's pretty stacked. So, get some friends, maybe go on a date or something, because there's a lot of choices, and there's still films from the summer that are still in theaters now. Like we said, like what we're talking about. So if you can still catch any of these or any of the films coming up, I would say, try it. Go watch the movies.
Oh.
All right. So now, thank you for listening. Again, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast. We are the AllYouCanHear podcast. Check us out on Twitter at AYCH Podcast. Check out the Backlog Boys Pod. Check out Instruction Booklet. Check out Cage and Greatness. And check out Violent People's Radio. They're all great. They're all fun. Go check out our Blue Sky, aychpodcast.bsky.social. Go to our Instagram, at AYCH Podcast. Go to our twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear, where all the VODs, including the instruction booklets, go to our YouTube, All You Can Hear. Lastly, you can follow me, Wenzel, on Twitter at WenzyBooking. Follow my art Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky as World of Wenzy. Follow my Bookstagram, Wenzel Banters. My link tree has links for everything, including my letterbox and Goodreads.
My name's Colt. Follow me on Twitter, ColtD00, and Blue Sky, ColtD99. That's all.
That's all. Gosh. Closing bits. Getting closing bits.
If you find it harder to jelk me harder.